Hi, and welcome. I'm Cher, the Shadow Walker, and I'm taking a look over the last 48 hours in the Northwest Territories, the Yukon, and in Yellowknife, along with the eastern provinces of Canada for cryptid sightings. It's a busy time of the year for cryptids, and it's also a time where there's sometimes not as many reportings because in the bush it's so wet that people have a tendency not to be going that far in to see things. However, some of the cryptids have shifted, so there are reports of them. Bigfoot in Wolf Creek, south of Whitehorse, at 11:45 on March 20th. The creature was observed pacing the tree line, observing a residential property, and they reported it to the Yukon Sasquatch Research Group. Hellhounds on the Alaskan Highway near Haines Junction at 3:15 on March 22nd, that's in the AM hours. It was standing on the side of the shoulder of the road, eyes reflecting into the light of the vehicle before vanishing. And it was reported to the RCMP as a road hazard. In the Northwest Territories and in Yellowknife, spider humanoid in the Detache Ice Road, Great Slave Lake area at 1 a.m. on March 21st, scattering across the ice with a jerky, multi-limbed gait, and it was reported to the Yellowknife Communities Oddities Registry. And a dog man on Highway 3 between Yellowknife and Beko, and it was reported at 2:30 a.m. on March 22nd. The cryptid was crouched over the carcass, and the witness experienced a soul-reading eye contact, and they reported it to the Northwest Territories Wildlife Observatory. Skinwalkers, Mackenzie Highway, Fort Providence area, at 11 p.m. on March 21st. An incident of whistling and human-like voices heard in the brush, and they reported it to the Daco First Nations community, Elder Monitor. Next, we're going to do Newfoundland. So, in the Gross Morin area in Newfoundland, near Western Brook Park, at 10:15 p.m. on March 20th, two hikers in the backcountry campsite reported a series of mechanical sounding screams, followed by bipedal movement in the brush. No physical confirmation was made due to the fog, but the vocalizations lasted 10 minutes, and they reported it to Parks Canada. A dogman in the Avalon Peninsula near Holyrod at 11:30 on March 21st. A resident reported a massive upright wolf seen briefly in the headlights while turning onto a private road. The creature leapt over a 6-foot fence in a single bound, and it was reported to the local community group and the Dogman Encounters Registry. Hellhounds in the Carbonear area on the coastal cliffs. At 3 a.m. on March 22nd, a night shift worker reported a large black dog with smoky fur standing motionless on the cliff edge. When the witness blinked, the dog was gone. This is the beginning of the season for them down there, and they're going to see a lot of them. In Prince Edward Island, in the Goose River area, on March the 21st at 2:15 a.m., two witnesses, high-pitched metallic mind scream, and local dogs were agitated, and they reported it to the Atlantic Digital Scanners, and they cite that one as a dog, as a Bigfoot. Hellhounds in Tignish in the coastal road at 12:40 a.m. on March 22nd, a lone witness saw a shadowy canine with red glowing eyes that crossed the road without a sound, and they reported it to the PEI Hellhound file. And a Bigfoot near Greenwich Dunes at 11:10 p.m. on March 20th, two witnesses, large bipedal silhouette observed moving between the dunes, footprints found in the sand, and they reported it to the Prince Edward Island Wildlife Observatory and Parks. And in New London, near Route 6, shapeshifter. At 9:30 p.m. on March 21st, three people reported whistling that mimicked the group and unusual other voices that they heard, and they reported it to the community log. And a skinwalker near Ketchimakuchik Backcountry Edge at 10 p.m. on March 21st, one person heard a child crying that transitioned into a perfect mimicking cry of the witness's name. And it was reported to the community log. In New Brunswick, a Bigfoot in the Elgin Caledonia Mountains area at 11:15 p.m. on March 20th, two witnesses, a series of rhythmic tree knocks, 4 to 5 minutes, followed by heavy bipedal movement. And they reported it to the New Brunswick Bigfoot Organization. And a dogman in the Kingston Peninsula at 2 a.m. on March 22nd, one person, and they reported that the creature was mind speaking with them, and they received a mental image of a wolf-faced man while fishing, and they reported it to the local Dogman Society. And a screamer, so it was a vocal sound on Walker's Road near Moncton, and it was at 3:45 a.m. on March 21st, and two people, metallic eerie roar that caused local birds to go silent, lasted for 3 distinct bursts, and they reported it to the Atlantic Scanner. And a hellhound in St. Martin's at 12:30 a.m. on March 21st, one person, a large black canine seen pacing the fog near the sea caves, vanished when the headlights hit it directly, and they reported it to the local Hellhound Society. Spider humanoid on the Fundy Trail Parkway at 1:20 a.m. on March 22nd, one person, pale, thin figure seen climbing vertically up a rock face, with a mechanical precision, and reported it to the Cryptid Archives of Canada. And a skinwalker in the Acadian Peninsula near Tracadie at 10:45 p.m. on March 21st, two people reporting mimicking cries of family members' voices calling from the woodline, accompanied by a foul smell. And they reported it to the local Hellhound Society. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it and thank you.